This is an extra for the DVD with Richard, Thomas and Stewart Lee.
Welcome to this extra for the DVD of Jerry Springer the Opera. This is Richard Thomas. It was his idea, so any death threats should be sent to him. I came on when the offensive work had already been done. Nothing, it wasn't me. This is... we're going to go and play little bits of the show and talk about how we worked it out. Originally, it started in Battersea Arts Centre in South London, in a little room, not much bigger than this, and it was a show where Rich just sat at the piano and played lots of bits on his own in a show called How to Write an Opera about Jerry Springer, where he talked about how you might write an opera about Jerry Springer. So we're going to recreate that exciting moment of Genesis here today. Thank you for buying this. Tell them about Beer for an Idea.
Beer for an Idea? Well, the idea was, basically, I didn't have really any material, if I was honest about it, so I did this little show. I had about 5 minutes of material and a vague idea of how Jerry Springer the Opera might work, Stuart. And what I did was get 2 crates of beer, Stuart, and some gifts, and if people shouted out like a suggestion that was moderately, you know, insightful or encouraging, they would get a can of Foster's beer, and if it was a rubbish idea, they'd get a can of Asda own brand, and this was called Beer for an Idea, which actually I kind of used from a show you did in Edinburgh. Remember when you used to have beers and give out gifts?
Yeah. Getting the public to write it for you.
Well, they didn't really write it for you. One guy did suggest using a goldfish as a guest. We never used that.
Actually, one of the funny things about it, because we sort of developed it in this public workshop space at Battersea Arts Centre, was that for years afterwards people come up to you and go, "Oh, do you remember I said there should be guests in it, and you ended up doing that?" And they went, "Well, yeah, obviously." But no one would come up to us and go, "Do you remember I said that one of the guests should be a goldfish, and you didn't use it?"
I do remember him.
You know, there was no claim for that.
I remember someone saying, do you remember I suggest you have Jerry Springer in the show?
Yeah. It's a good idea.
It was a good idea, yeah. And someone else said, I suggest you put music to like a form of words, or you know, they come out anyway.
That was the breakthrough.
I wrote another little song last night for this, for Stu, about the beginning of the show. I want to dedicate this to you, actually, Stuart.
Okay.
It's got the history of Stuart. It's about when I first asked Stuart to be involved in a musical. It goes like this. This is really shit, by the way, but I mean, not this hobby, I'm enjoying this, but this is bad. It goes, so I says to Stewart Lee, would you like to be involved in a musical? Musical, fairy dust, it's a must. I know it's not your thing, and you hate it when people sing for no apparent reason on stage. So what do you say, Stuart?
No.
Will you do it?
Well, I don't think so, because I think musicals are basically a kind of bankrupt form. There's something inherently absurd about the idea of little, you know, dramatic scenes in between these huge emotional outpourings. It's very difficult. They're so tight.
What do you say, Stuart?
No.
Are you saying you will do it?
I think that if we can avoid an overlay of kitsch and actually make these genuinely sincere elements of it, then possibly, but I think you will...
What are you saying, Stuart? Will you do it?
How long will it take? About a month.
3 years,
3 years of hell?
And toil and tears.
Will it end with the show being unable to recoup financially due to massive protests, and you can't tour it, so we don't get paid anything?
Yes!
Yes! Hey, I'll do it. Right, do you want to do a bit? Do you want to do a bit from how you used to do it when it was just you? Why don't you pick a song at random?
OK, you can pick it out of the box.
Yeah, we're going into the box now.
This is the
box of all the original scores.
This is the box of scores, right?
We'll see what comes out. You're going to shuffle them up.
I'm going to shuffle them up. You pick it up. You have to pick a bit of music. This is the original. This is original.
Who would have thought that this box, 3 or 4 years down the line, would have no actual commercial value?
Yeah, go on. Shake it. Pick a piece out. OK, what's that one?
Where Were You?
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is quite interesting,
That's
actually.
Interesting.
This is from the second half. Where were you?
Where were you when the children cried? OK, brilliant.
A lot of the collaboration, such as it was done by email, where we'd send words backwards and forwards to each other, and Rich would fix them. But this, I remember, we actually put this together in a pub in Battersea called. What was that pub called where we used to go on the corner?
Where now? Which
the one with the little wine bar-y place.
The Lavender.
The Lavender, yeah.
The Lavendrier.
We've been trying to. We used to do these workshops about every 4 months of where we got to with the show with 3 or 4 people in them, and we realised there was a kind of gap in the second half where we needed all the guests from heaven and hell to gang up on each other, and we sort of. I remember we just sat in there.
Yeah.
Put all these words together in this bar. On the whole, we didn't tend to write it like that. But
it's written like that. I don't know if you can see it, but that's actually kind of illegible. So I'd write it like that, and then someone would put it in a computer and make it look nice. But that's the thing. And it goes like this.
Okay, well, loads of times we used to have to do sing-throughs to people that wanted to invest to justify their
2 hours.
Their confidence.
2 hours of us singing.
We used to do it.
I'm gonna play this.
At speed with enthusiasm.
Yeah. Do you want to be Mary?
Okay, I'll be Mary.
You be Mary, go on.
And where were you when I was on my own? Where were you when they rolled the stone?
Good.
Where were you when I was getting old? Where were you when I was sick and bold?
And everyone goes,
Where
were you?
Jesus wasn't there, he didn't care.
Where were you?
Do you want to be Adam?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Adam, this is.
Yeah. Where were you when the children
Jesus,
died?
where were you when the children died?
Where were you when I was crucified? Where were you when they pierced my side?
And everyone.
Where were you? Where were people? Where wasn't they didn't care? Wasn't they didn't care? Wasn't they didn't care? Where were you?
Where were you when he lost his keys? Where were you when the pants don't fit? Where were you when the condom split?
Is it me? When the condom split. Somebody help me out. When the condom split. Etc.
Yeah, and then.
That's it.
Yeah, that was quite a good bit.
That was quite a good bit.
Yeah.
And you can imagine how much investment we attracted using
We attracted
style.
Actually,
we did all right.
more doubt than investment.
Go on. Pick from the box.
Pick from the box.
The box of history.
Oh, look, it's fallen on the floor.
Oh no, doesn't count.
Oh, this isn't this.
It doesn't count.
Oh, this is nice.
Which one's that one?
That didn't make it in. That that. Oh, this is
Oh,
interesting.
yes, that was a
this
nice
is
song.
interesting, actually. Yeah. Okay, this is
a nice song.
One Day You're 17. And well, Rich, this was sung by who sang this in the show?
Show and Tell, the pole dancer.
The pole dancer. But there's an interesting story about this.
It goes like this. She goes, one day you're 17. You can sing it, you sing
Okay.
it.
One day you. Ah! One day you're 17, 17, 17.
Then just before you're 18, 18, suddenly, you realise you're 36.
Now, when we did this at Battersea, it goes, one day you're 17, 17, 17, then suddenly you realise you're 36, right? At Battersea, that used to get a really good laugh. And then when we went to the National Theatre, it didn't.
Yeah.
And Tom Morris, who helped us develop it at Battersea, said afterwards that he thought the problem was that at Battersea Arts Centre we were playing to a younger crowd. So the idea of being 36 to them was an unimaginable future
young.
nightmare. And at the National, because it was older people, he said you need to pitch it up about 20 years. And so we made it 56. And everyone seemed to suddenly find it funny again. And because 56 seemed like old to a National Theatre audience, whereas 36 seemed old to the young hipsters at Battersea Arts Centre, who were the people whose confidence show was originally built on. And there were lots of funny tweaks like that we found we had to make when it went into a more mainstream space.
Pick from the history box.
Okay.
This used to be some kind of order.
This is what you have here is some details of the different sizes of musicians' manuscript paper you can have.
It's important.
What's in there? There's a song called "Drink My Own Wee" here, Rich, which I don't think
should we
made
play
it.
that? Let's see what that sounds like.
Remember that? I don't remember that from. I don't ever remember that.
I drink my own wee, he drinks his own wee. I drink my own wee, he drinks his own wee. When I'm watching Jerry, own wee. That didn't make it into the show.
Although the start of that tune
was
reprised as Him and the Devil.
Oh yeah.
Him and the Devil was another song which it was a big opening number for the Devil when he came on, which in the end it was a really good piece. We ended up chopping it to from about 3 minutes. It was the biggest number in the show, and it got chopped from about 4 minutes to 30.
And we'll sing it.
33 seconds, and this was the one. This was the one where there were a lot of lying complaints about this. In that where this was the use of the word cunt, which used to get standing ovations at the National Theatre, but it only occurred about 7 times in the show, although the propagandist said that there were 8,000 use of the word cunt or something, which would be an interesting show. Yeah. But it
so
wasn't
this is, in fact, I'll do a cunt count now, and there is, in fact, cunt one, and him, and... Well, let's sing it first.
Okay, we'll sing it,
then we'll do a cunt count.
Count the cunts for yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
What we'll do is we'll sing it, we'll do a pause, give you a guess. You could have, like, put 5p on it or something, and then we'll tell you the number of cunts. Him and the devil.
Ooh, yes, I'm evil.
Him, I'm not good.
The opposite, in fact.
In fact, him a total cunt.
One way of putting it.
Him act as total cunts should. What a cunt! What a cunt! What a cunting, 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 cunt!
Hooray!
And there are, in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cunts. However, there are 4 cuntings, right? Which I say isn't actually a cunt, it's a sort of adjectival, adverbial thing.
It's a new word that you've invented. If anything, you should be given credit for that rather than penalised.
I'm hoping it gets in the OED.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we might get that in the dictionary. Remember, you heard it here first.
Thank you very much.
Is the long version of that song anywhere?
Yeah, I've got a slightly short... I actually have to admit I was looking for that, and
oh no,
I don't have a copy, but I've got I think there's one here, a halfway house version of it. This is May 2002.
This is the version of a score from May 2002. A lot of trees died for this piece of work.
Oh look, do you want to do some other ones which you can get in? There was things like I want to go to therapy, close the door, you fucking cunt. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Let's do close the door, you fucking cunt.
Here's some other bits that...
This would have actually pushed up the cunt factor quite a lot.
Yeah.
This is called close it. Remember this? Close the door, you fucking cunt.
Do you mind if I have a cigarette?
No, I don't mind.
Okay.
Actually, I do mind intensely, but have one.
Okay, thanks.
It'll give an edge. Okay, this was cut out.
I can't remember this.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Close the door, you fucking cunt, you fucking cunt, you fucking cunt. Close the door, you fucking cunt, you fucking lazy cunt. Can't you feel the fucking draft, the fucking draft, the fucking draft? Can't you feel the fucking draft, you skanky slutbug freak? What we mean by slutbug freak, by slutbug freak, by slutbug freak. What we mean by slutbug freak is, baby, we love you.
That's a classic Richard Thomas move, that, in as much as it's half a minute of abuse followed by an actual declaration of love, and that's one of the well, that's one of his working methods. It is. It's true. Whereby actually the people at their most abusive in an American talk show like Jerry Springer, often their hatred masks is because they're kind of innately inarticulate. It kind of masks the way that they want to express genuine desires and feelings. That bit was when Steve the bouncer came in to sort something out, and everyone told him to leave. And
through the open door. I'll give you an example of that. What's that?
What, an example of...
what you was talking about.
Here's an example of what I was just talking about then.
You could sing it as well. The weird thing happened. A weird thing happened last night. Remember that?
Oh, yeah? OK. Yeah.
This gives an example.
Yeah, this is a good example of that. Yeah, remember... Now, this song is... This song...
It's a personal moment. It's a personal moment in one of these guests. And the idea of it was that you have a simple idea, a simple little trick is that you have a person singing quite gross lyrics, but the music's saying a different thing. You've got 2 languages happening at the same time, the spoken language or the sung language, the words saying, you know, blah, 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 this is hateful, hateful, but the music's saying another thing like, I'm quite lonely or beautiful, whatever.
And before you, there's a kind of thing about staging it as well was... I'll tell you afterwards.
Weird thing happened.
OK.
Okay, guys.
A weird thing happened last night when I went to take a leak. He ended up pissing on a man with a glorious physique. I said, what on earth are you doing on the bathroom floor? He said, don't ask stupid questions, just piss on me some more. Piss on me, you whore. I pissed some more. And I think that made it kind of easy about directing, actually, was that you can't really do anything to Rich's music. If you try to stage that in a salacious way or a humorous way, everything drops out of it. And all there is the juxtaposition of that being a bizarre thing to sing over a beautiful piece of music. And I remember auditioning people for that part, and a couple of people would come in and try and sing it in a sexy, salacious way, which kind of made it more like musical theatre and less like opera. And I suppose all the time we were doing it, the kind of, when you had opera at the back of your head, it didn't necessarily mean that it had to be operatic in tone, but it had to be operatic in that you'd try and stage it as seriously as you could.
I think the first incarnation where you had someone pissing on a man with a glorious physique was my favourite.
Yeah.
But, and I guess
I didn't ever do that.
You did, liar. You liar, you're Oh, what should we do now?
I don't know.
This is the second half ballad, which God sings, called It Ain't Easy Being Me. And in fact, it was John Thoney, the producer, who suggested way back when that the second half needed another ballad.
Well, what we also needed was we needed a bit to move the plot on, and we always had like a hinge, a problem hinge in the second half, and every time we'd fix it, it just kept moving further back. And this again is one of the few bits we actually sat around the piano and wrote, and we did it at a place called the Actors Centre in Soho one afternoon. And basically, after we cast Ben Lake as Dwight in the first half, we started thinking about what he was like. We realised that he seemed like a godlike figure, and the benign, polygamous man in the first half seemed to suggest to us this idea of a god who was absent in some way and wanted people to help him out and take responsibility for his actions. And so we were trying to write a number for him. And Rich used to be in this double act Miles and Milner. I remember he used to do a really good Tom Waits parody, and this sort of has echoes of that. You can hear.
I plagiarised myself.
You can hear that it's.
Also, in the middle of, there's been tons of really fast music. This is a nice little slow bit.
Yeah.
It's also with these. It's a ballad. It only comes in at probably about 1:20, but in a theatrical context, it feels like about a 4-minute thing.
It feels long because everything else in it's 20 seconds. Do you want to do this in a Tom Waits voice?
Could do. I don't know. What do you think? Should we do a Tom Waits voice? Okay, why not then?
Go on. It might be good if you cough and splutter. Do you need more than one?
It's quite nice. I can see why people get addicted to this stuff.
You want some? You want two?
Yeah, go on, have two.
I remember your Tom Waits act used to end with you smoking 4 cigarettes simultaneously.
It's quite nice, actually. Yeah, it's a waste though. It's a waste in this.
Go on then. Okay, it ain't easy being me.
It goes like this.
God, thank God you're here.
It ain't easy being me. It so ain't easy being me. Billions of voices making all the wrong choices, then turning round and blaming me. I tell you, it ain't easy being me.
God, you weren't on Satan's list of guests. Why are you here? What do you want?
Shit. Sit in heaven beside me, hold my hand and guide me, 'cause it ain't easy being me.
In fact, it's difficult.
It's quite a treat. I have to say that's the first cigarette I've ever enjoyed in my life.
Oh, well.
Fuck.
It's probably got a vaguely post-coital feeling.
Yeah.
Having sung that for what will arguably be the last time. Until we have to sing it in court. For a blasphemy charge. And explain what we meant by it under the new national legislation.
Oh, well,
should we do the DVD end song?
Let's do the DB, specially written DVD song. Obviously, all rights reserved. DVD, that's the end of the extra.
That's the end of the extras on the DVD. Yesterday, we found out that we aren't getting Arts Council funding to tour the show, which has been made very commercially difficult by the protests. 4 Olivier Awards, greatest piece of theatre for 30 years. This may be your only chance to see it. I hope you've enjoyed watching us go back over the 4 years of work. Struggle, sweat, tears, deafness and lung disease that went into this. And tinnitus as well, of course. We've got tinnitus now. DVD. Was it all worth it? Yeah, it was worth it. It was great. You know, if it brought pleasure to just one person, it wasn't worth it. Wave goodbye to the people. Bye. See you real soon.